What's up, everybody? It is June 30th, 2023. It is very hot today. I think it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit today. Definitely feel it. Yeah, it sucks. Not a big fan of the heat. I mean, I don't like the extreme cold either, but I also don't like the heat. We're in Burger King right now, letting Nano play for a little bit. And that's what's going on. Becca's outside, standing on the corner with the sign, trying to get some money. And after Nano's done, I'm gonna go out there with her, and then I'll switch places with her. Yeah, that's her every day, just trying to get money. You know, we're at the point now, if I'm being honest, that we really don't want to be here anymore. It just feels like we're going nowhere. It feels like we're going nowhere, and we'd like to get out of here, but without a car, it just feels impossible. You know, taking public transportation or Greyhound bus or Amtrak, it's expensive. You know, our free bus pass is only for this area. Once we get out of this area, say this county, then it's not free no more. And yeah, once you get on a Greyhound or on the Amtrak train, and it's just so expensive. I just want to go somewhere. I want to work. I do. I want to work. I want to earn my own money. I hate this begging stuff. Becca hates this begging stuff. You know, it's humiliating. It's demeaning. I'm ashamed. All the words, all those negative words. We hate it. You know, I want to work, and I don't know. I honestly, I miss the old days. You know, I'm 41 years old, and I remember when I first started working at 16 years old in the, say, around the mid 90s or late 90s, you could go into a place and, you want to work, you need a job, they need a worker, and they hire you. I mean, I can't tell you, it was so simple. Literally, you just go into a place, be like, hey, you hiring? Yeah, okay. I think my first job, I worked at a pizza place and also at Del Taco. And when I walked into Del Taco, the first Del Taco I worked at, I think it was in Rialto. Yeah, I walked in there. I was like, hey, I want a job. I filled out an application and I started working that day. And the application wasn't even crazy like it is now. There's no psychological questions. You don't have to go through interview. You don't have to go through interviews like, oh, what would you do in this scenario or that scenario? Literally, I went in there, hey, I need a job. They needed an employee. The boss was a female. She was like, let me go see if there's uniforms in the back. And that was it. I started working that day. And so I just missed that, I want to say, environment. It's just, you have to go through so much rigmarole to get a simple job nowadays, even fast food. When I went to go for the pizza place, you found out, first of all, I mean, everything's online now. So I filled out the application online. And then, like I said, they ask you all kinds of psychological questions or like situational questions. What would you do in this situation? Or what, I've seen some of them. Oh, what would you do if you saw one of your coworkers stealing and this and that? And it's not just an application. It's not just you put your name, social security number, and where you live or whatever. It's all this extra nonsense nowadays. Anyhow, and then so you go in there. In this interview, it was two people interviewing me, which is also nonsense. It's like, this is for a freaking pizza job. It doesn't need to be two people. It's so simple. It's like, oh, you want to work? Oh, okay. You got pizza experience? Yeah. Oh, I work at these places. Oh, well, that's good. Okay. Oh, either you hire me or you don't, Oh, we'll consider it. And then both interviewers wanted to ask me questions, and just nonsense for a freaking pizza job. Or even if you want to go work at a burger joint. I went, it's Taco Bell. I went for an interview at Taco Bell before. Same thing. You apply online. I went in for a first interview, they liked me, and then like, okay, we got to come back for a second interview, and it was a panel of people for freaking Taco Bell. It was three like higher up managers. So I'm sitting in front of these three higher up managers, and again, all these crazy questions. Oh, I work here. What'd you do in this situation, that situation, for freaking Taco Bell to roll burritos and make tacos. It's like, are you kidding? It's like, I'm not trying to work at NASA building rocket ships or something. Okay, I get that. There needs to be a stringent process. Or you go work at Tesla or SpaceX or for the government. I get that. I get there needs to be, background checks and all this kind of stuff. But you're going to make burgers and fries or tacos or whatever It should be the most simplistic thing on the planet. And if it doesn't work out, you work a couple days, they don't like you, then get the hell out of here. That's it. Yeah, you suck, you're fired, get the hell out of here. That's it. That's how it should be. But no, everything's, it's so, I mean, some people say to not complain. Just, that's the way it is. That's modern times. I don't even like applying online. I miss the days where you go into a place and you apply and you walk up to the manager, here you go, you shake their hand and, hey, this is my name. Oh, okay, you want a job? Yeah. And even if they don't hire you that day, in a couple of days you call back, be like, hey, so-and-so, you're not put an application. Oh, I remember you, But no, it's faceless nowadays. You go online and you're just another number, And even if you try to call in, that doesn't even work anymore. Oh, hey, I applied online or whatever. Oh, okay, well, you wait. We'll call you or we'll not call you, whatever. There's all that following up stuff. They don't care about that nowadays. They don't want to see you. And like I said, they don't, unless you come in, they don't know your face anyways. And if you do, they're like bothered by it nowadays. So, I get it. I'm old, and this is always what old people do. Oh, in my day it was like this and that. I'm sorry. I know that's the stereotype or whatever. Old people complain how it used to be, but I can't put it into words. It was just seriously pre-2000 or I mean, it's hard for me to say because I got locked up from 2000 to 2006. So, a lot of changes happened at that time. The 9/11 attacks happened during that time, and that made the country more crazy. You can't even go to an airport and just get on a plane anymore. I remember, before that too. Before I got, like I said, pre-2000. Remember, I'm from Southern California, and we would just get in a car and just go down to Mexico sometimes. You wouldn't need a passport or nothing. When you came back, you had to go through a little check that, they stop your car. Hey, you bring anything in? No, okay, go. But you didn't need to you needed a passport. You just drove down there. And so sometimes, we'd get in the car, we'd just drive down to Tijuana, and that was it. But nowadays, you can't go over the border unless you have a freaking passport. And then there's probably a time, especially going to Canada, you have to have a passport, and you got to have your COVID shot verification. It's just, everything is just nonsense nowadays. It's not even just the job. I really can't explain to anyone who wasn't alive during that time. Seriously, 2000 and before, it was just simpler. It was a lot simpler time. It was easier to get a boyfriend or girlfriend, to get into a relationship. You just go up to somebody, hey, I think you're cute, hey, you want to go on a date? It wasn't like, oh, you're a creeper and this and that. And it's like people understood, yeah, wow, you're attracted to me. That's not wild. That's not a crazy thought. You're supposed to be attracted to other human beings. That's what makes the world go around. People being attracted to people having babies and whatever. Just normal stuff. And people weren't all flipped out about just everything. But anyhow, I know I'm ranting. I know I'm 41 years old, and I've become an old man who's just ranting. But seriously, to anyone who wasn't alive during that time, it was so much simpler. It was. But yeah, as far as the job thing, I just, I really wish I could just walk into a place. It doesn't matter if it's McDonald's or Burger King or whatever. Forget all that nonsense applying online. I wish I could just apply there. Oh, hey, you need a job? Hey, okay. Boom, here you go. But, no. Everything is complicated nowadays. That's the word. From relationships to getting a job to, I don't know, making friends and I don't know, just everything in this world is like complicated nowadays. Nothing is simple no more. Everything is just, yeah. Forget the prices. Okay, prices go up, whatever. I'm not complaining about that. I get prices, wages go up, prices go up, whatever. But yeah, it's just the fact that things are complicated. Nothing is just like, it's just simple anymore. I don't know. I know I'm just an old man ranting. I know I'm just a homeless person ranting. I know that someone's going to say, hey, you're just making excuses. That's the modern way. That's how it's done. You just got to do it. I get it, okay? I'm not dumb. I'm not ignorant to that. I know that. And I do. I go online. I do it. I answer the stupid psychological questions. But, it's always like, what's the right answer? I try to answer all the stupid psychological questions right. And it's like, but then you guys sit there and play the game. What answer are they looking for? Because you can't always answer truthful. They don't always want the truthful answer. They want this weird, like predetermined. They have these predetermined answers to these questions, and if you don't answer check all the right bubbles or check all the boxes properly, and oh, that's it. Like I said, without even seeing your face or knowing you or anything about you, they just decline you. And so so I just miss the days. You walk in, you shake the person's hand. Hey, I really want a job. Oh, okay. Hey, you got transportation? Yeah, I got a car. I drove here. Okay, hey, no problem. All right. Like I said, when I worked at Del Taco, I got hired and started working that day. They put me behind the counter, and some guy just trained me, just like that. Hey, this is how you cut the quesadillas. This is how you do the fries. You make the burgers. That freaking day, I wanted a job. I went to the job. I filled out the little application, one paper. I think it was maybe one-sided application, and boom, got the job. You cannot do that nowadays, and it's just overly complicated. Everything is just overly complicated, and I hate it. I know I'm complaining. I know I'm making excuses. Like someone's gonna say, I get it, but I don't know. I just miss it, and I'm at the point now. Now I am 41 years old. I'm a 40-year-old man. I'm fighting for these jobs. Dan, are you almost done, man? The manager just came in right now. Probably check on me. And Daniel's just sitting at the end of the slide. I don't know if he's done. So now I am a 41-year-old man, and even if I do go into McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, wherever to apply, you got to understand I'm applying to this job as a 40-year-old man applying basically for a teenager's job. And although on the books and the law they say, oh yeah, we don't discriminate based on race and age and all this kind of stuff, I'm telling you right now, in the real world, they do. They really do. I mean, I've literally had, I remember I went to apply at Papa John's one time, and there was this younger girl. I was maybe, 10, 15 years older than her. And she was like, I was shaved and everything, but she still recognized that I was older. And she was like, hey, some of the managers here, they're young. Do you have any problem, basically, as an old man? Do you have any problem, basically being told what to do as an older person from a younger person? And I was like, no, I don't mind. I listen to I answer all the questions. I bow down. I do everything. Did I get a job? No. Why? Because they do discriminate based on age. They do discriminate based on race. Maybe gender, whatever. It sounds nice on the books and the law. Oh, you're not supposed to discriminate, but they do. And it's just a fact. Like I said, I'm going into these minimum wage jobs where there's kids applying, teenagers applying, burger places, taco places, whatever, and they'd rather hire teenagers because teenagers, they're still, the reason, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a secret. The reason why companies like hiring teenagers, the younger the better. That's why even in some states like, I don't know, Utah or whatever, they hire as young as like 14 years old because they know they're still children in their mind, and they're at that point in their life where they're still used to taking commands from an adult and not questioning it. That's why they like hiring young people, 14, 15, 16, 17, even 18. You're used to listening to your teacher or listening to your parents or listening to whoever, and they know that you're still very manipulatable at that age. You're going to listen. They're going to tell you jump, and you're going to say how high, and they like that. Even though they know that teenagers are very they could just work there for a couple months and they quit because they're switching schools or they go to another job. They know that, but they kind of like that because they know they're just going to come in, they're going to do what they're told, and they're going to leave. Now, on the opposite hand, someone like me, I'm not at that age anymore, and so they don't like older people because older people, we have a mind of our own at this point when you're 30, 40, 50 years old. And when they try to tell you some nonsense, oh hey, go scrub the bottom of the toilet, or just something that is against the law or whatever, not clean the toilets, but sometimes employers try to get you to do some pretty shady stuff, and as an older person you're like, no, I'm not doing that. That's against the law. You can't have me doing that. You can't force me to waive my right to a break or something like that, right? And so that's why A, they like hiring young people, teenagers. B, that's why they like hiring people who are borderline illegal, Mexican or otherwise, because they know that you're not going to say anything because, you don't want to get deported or in trouble or if you're a teenager, you used to take instruction. That's why they like hiring those people, because they just obey. And so they see me, just run of the mill 40-year-old, American guy, and they don't like that. They're like, no, he's going to give us hassles. He's going to come there. We're going to ask him to do something, like I said, borderline illegal, or this, that you don't have to do. Like, seriously, I've been at jobs where they try to get you to waive your right to a break, or something like that, and they know, older people be like me, like, man, that's nonsense. You can't do that. I could contact the labor board or something like that. They know that older people have sense, basically, and they don't like that. They don't like someone with like sense or knowledge of the law or anything. And that's another thing. They know teenagers, they don't know anything about, labor laws and all that kind of stuff. And so they could get away with a lot more stuff. And like I said, teenagers are very like compliant. That's what they want. They want a young teenager, especially, like I said, 15, 16 years old, is just very compliant. They're like, hey, go do that, go do this. And oh yeah, no problem, Or hey, you don't really need a break, do you? Oh no. A 16-year-old might be like, oh no, I don't need a break. I'm fine. I'm good. And so you just waive your break. They know, 40, 50-year-old guy, I'm gonna get tired easier. And I'm gonna want my break. Or some people, my age, they're smokers and they're older, so they want their smoke break. They want their break so they can go smoke. Whereas a 16-year-old, they don't really have to worry about that. So anyhow. Again, I know I'm ranting. I know I'm, someone's gonna say I'm making excuses. I get it. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just telling you that I'm kind of just tired of some of this modern day stuff. Like I said, everything is just too complicated. I miss simplicity, And before 2000, the 90s, 80s, and back, things were just so much simpler. To get a car, to rent a place. Oh yeah, I'm telling you. When I tell you things were easier, less complicated. Again, renting a place. When we were down in Hesperia in San Bernardino County, we were calling all kinds of places, right? And the standard is, of course, they're like, okay, we want you to have income and we want you to have good credit, right? Just that's standard. That's been standard for a while, right? And then the new thing was, they're like, oh, and not just having good credit. They wanted you to have a specific credit score. They're, oh, you gotta have like at least 700 and this and that. Employees keep coming in. I'm gonna end this video, but anyhow, even to get like to rent a place, a house or an apartment, or whatever, it's complicated. Where you go back to like, especially like in the 80s or whatever, cash was literally king back then. People will tell you, you go back, say 85, just say, right, and say I had $10,000 in my account. I could look up in the newspaper or whatever, find somebody who's renting, and I go there. Be like, hey man, I want to rent a place. Boom, okay, give us first and last month's rent. Say rent was, I don't know, whatever. Say it was $500 a month back then. I give them $1,000 first and last month's rent. That's it. No credit checks. No. They don't even give a shit. If you worked or not. As long as you had money to pay, they don't care if you're going out and slinging drugs or sucking dick or whatever. You got the money to pay the rent every month. That's all they cared about, literally. And nowadays, let's say again, say you had $10,000, $20,000 in your account. Say I had that right now. Say I had $10,000, $20,000 in my account, and I go to a place. Hey, I want to rent a place. Oh well, how much income do you have? They don't even care about the cash that you have on hand. They're like, well, you could take that. I've had people tell us before, well, even if you had this much money, say you had $5,000 in your account, they're like, oh, well, you could take that and go, blow it somewhere. We want to see the income, and we want you to have, good credit and all this. Literally, cash is not king anymore. Credit is the new king nowadays. Credit is the new king. Cash is not king. I could literally have 10 G's in my account right now, and I could try to go get a place, and literally maybe all of them would decline me because I don't have a job, I don't have good credit, and then they don't care. It's not like you can go to, maybe you could get lucky and find some place renting like a room or whatever, and you could just pay them cash. So rare. But I'm telling you, it was way different in the 90s, 80s before. Literally, you can find anyone in the newspaper. You could look up, okay, this person's renting. They got a house rent. You go there. Here you go, first and last month's rent. They don't give two shits of how you came about that money. They don't give two shits. You pay first and last month's rent. You're moving in. As long as you're paying rent every month, that's all they care about. I'm telling you, things are so complicated nowadays, and it's so frustrating. But I get it. I get I'm old. I get I'm complaining. I get I'm making excuses. I get it. I'm just talking. I'm just thinking out loud, and whatever. It is what it is. So I don't know. So anyhow, so we're in this bad situation. I'm about to end this video. We're in this bad situation. I don't know how we're gonna get out of it. I do want a job. I don't know who's gonna hire me or who would hire me, you know. And we have to spend so many hours a day. It's not like we just go out for 1 hour and beg. We have, I mean, the other day we spent like 9 hours out begging, just trying to get enough money, you know, to get a hotel and get food. And it's like, I don't even if I was applying for all kinds of jobs, I don't even have time to go to all these interviews. I spend several hours just sitting on the corner begging. I'm not, and I'm definitely not letting Becca do it by herself. Nano, he tries to run off. He tries to run in the street. People just don't, whatever. I don't know, I'm tired of just, because I know what people are going to say. You're just making excuses, whatever. Okay, making excuses. I do want a job. I do want to make my own money. I'm just telling you straight up. That's just, whatever. Anyhow, I'm rambling now. Thank you for watching. This video is probably really long. Thank you for watching. We got to go out back with Becca. I'll see you guys next video.